Good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another episode of CSU Sports Talk. I'm your host here, Derek Bailey, shooting live from the InPay Center in downtown Columbus with my co-host, my partner in crime, my nemesis, my cohort.
Come on, man. On the radio show, you said you were going to stop. I gave you the sweetest intro ever. You said you were going to stop. Now it's back to nemesis.
I did though in cohort, which is like a partner in crime, which is pretty much what you are.
Cohort.
Because we got into a lot of trouble this last week.
When did you become an English major? Cohort.
I've always been a communication major, just like an English major. It's like the same thing.
Right, pretty much. Ugly stepsister.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But we've actually been having a lot of fun this week. CSU Sports has been popping off this week. We've had a lot of different things happening. Did you get to check out anything other than things that we went to?
As I say, the ones that me and you went to, which was nice. It was nice getting a text from you and be like, hey man, let's go check out some sports. I'm like, thank you. I'm tired of doing it by myself. I appreciate it all by myself in the corner of the bleachers. This is really interesting. No, other than the sports things that we did, that was it.
Yeah, man. I've actually been, I attended 3 or 4 different events, watched one online, and then caught back up on some stats. Just, I always check on the website and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of hot to see that, like, season's in full turn. Everybody's playing now. Basketball be starting in about 3 weeks, 2 weeks, and so, that's what I'm really waiting on.
Practice, I saw online that the practice started, and they videotaped that, and they were talking about what you and Kiana, spoiler alert, a video piece that we put together in this episode, talk about being a college athlete where, look guys, I'm going to need, the coach quoted, I'm going to need 20 hours out of you guys every week. Exactly. Plus, don't forget, you have your homework, and you got to study, and you got to, I felt bad for those dudes.
Yeah.
You miss those days?
Not so much.
Not so much?
Not so much.
I didn't think so.
But we want to go ahead and roll into the sports. The first thing we're going to talk about, guys, something that you guys probably all know about is our CSU Club football team had its home opener this week. Me and Matt went out there, checked it out. Great game. They played against Macon State, which is, I guess, our neighbor to the south, about an hour away. And it was a really close game early on. Halftime score was 14-7, but Macon State ended up finishing up 30-14.
That last 3 minutes was just atrocious. I don't know if you watched it last night, the Monday Night Football game, the same thing. The Houston Texans self-imploded in 2 minutes. Yep. I saw 17 points scored.
That's amazing.
It's ridiculous. Same thing in the club football game.
You know what? I don't want to say this, but part of the reason why that club football team lost is they beat themselves. Yes. A lot of times in football you get beat by better teams, and then sometimes you get beat by yourself. Early on in the game, first half, there were 6 drop passes that hit guys' hands. All right, if you don't snag it, you don't pull it down, that's yardage, that's touchdowns, and then 2. There were a couple different penalties. Like one time we had too many players on the field. One time it was offsides, different things like that. If you take about the field that we lost in penalties, that's some more scores. Mm-hmm. So it was a highly competitive game. I think our guys are better than what they look like, though.
I agree, and you summed it up when we were talking about it on the sidelines there. You summed it up better than I could with my long ramble. And that, to me, Middle Georgia looked like the better team. Not that they were bigger, faster, and stronger, but they were just more fundamentally sound. And then you broke it down even better to where, will they catch the football? Yeah. It's true. 2 touchdowns off a simple slant route because the guy could catch the ball in space and just beat the defenders versus, like you said, our guys, what, six long bombs that hit their hands and they dropped it? That's 6 touchdowns right there if they would have caught it, if they would have caught hands.
I don't ever pretend to be Coach Dungy or anybody like that, but I do know a little bit about football. And the quarterback, our guy, Jimmy, I can't remember Jimmy's last name, number 1, really good. He scrambles, he keeps moving, he's got an arm on the run. And I was surprised when I heard that he was a runner. I didn't think he had accuracy. Just being real, a lot of guys that run at quarterback can't throw. You know what I'm saying? So I get out there and I see him, and he's putting it on the money. They call it the bread basket. And he's hitting guys, I know a little football. And he's hitting guys right in the bread basket, but they're clapping it. And then the ball's gone. And so I'm like, man, that's a problem. And then we got, some really good running backs. But when you're a one-dimensional team, it's really easy to stop you. Okay, you guys got 2 backs that are pretty good. We'll put 8 guys in the box. and we're gonna see how many yards this guy can get. You guys obviously are not going over our heads, and so I think we beat ourselves. Like we really didn't lose that game. So I want to tell people who didn't see the game that our club football team is actually pretty good.
They're not bad. Same as last season though. We started off with a lot more wins than losses, but they came into that game 4-1. Now they're at 4-2, and the next game coming up, the Doughboy game, where we are 0-5 against them. So does that possibly look like the trend? Mathematically, the trend is looking down to where they're going to finish 4-3, 4-4, back to another 500-game season.
Oh man. Okay. So for those who don't know, there is a huge classic that happens every year where the CSU club football team takes on the Doughboys of Fort Benning. And this year the game will be on a Thursday night. I think it starts around 6 o'clock. It's out there on Fort Benning, so you have to go out to the military base to check it out. It will be our homecoming game, so I think there will be a homecoming parade, maybe a ceremony, something like that. You guys should definitely come and check it out. As for who's gonna win or lose the game, the Doughboys are usually pretty good. So I'm not gonna get into it. We're just gonna beat them. I think it's gonna be highly competitive. You know what I'm saying?
You playing it safe.
I got guys out there. JJ, you know what I'm saying? Brown got guys out there I really want to see play well. So we're gonna see what those guys look like.
Look, they have a chance if they don't do what they did this weekend, which was make their offense one-dimensional by only running the ball because the wide receivers weren't catching. If you make your offense one-dimensional, probably not going to win.
You can see that stick.
Right?
Yeah.
I haven't even seen that in sports stores lately. I go to Dick's Sporting Goods every now and again. I haven't seen it in there. I think it's illegal now.
It might be.
Those and PEDs. And it's exactly why I'm sitting here in this chair and no longer playing. You can't use stick 'em no more, and I can't use PEDs
Can't
no
use frosted peds in the morning?
Can't.
Another sport I want to talk about that's actually doing really well now is our volleyball team. You remember about 2 weeks ago on the show, I was talking about our volleyball team. They were in the midst of a 5-game losing streak. Our girls were doing pretty bad. I went out and I asked the community, I said, hey, we got a home game stint coming up. I want you guys to come out and support them at home. Well, guess what? Last 7 games, our girls have been 6-1 with a good 4 or 5 games at home. I told you guys last year, the volleyball team was really good. They came onto the scene, new team, new coach, started kicking a lot of butt. They had a lot of turnover. They were on the road a lot. It's easy for a new team that plays away from home with no chemistry to get in a rut. Yeah. You turn around and have a home stand, 4 or 5 games. Just this week, we had 2 different games. We played Albany State, beat them 3-1, and we played Spring Hill, beat them 3-1. You see what I'm saying? So you get back home, hitting your mid-season stride. We're 9-10 right now, so it's looking like we finish out the season strong, finish above 500. Might fool around and make the playoffs.
Might. And they were good last year, so I don't know that it would be like, what was it? Was it the men's basketball team last year?
Yeah. That
fooled around and had the stars align up and Mars, all this crazy stuff had to happen to where they made the playoffs. If this volleyball team does, I think they're deserving of it because they are a good team. It's just every sports team of every season, you're going to hit some kind of, like you say, a rut or some kind of obstacle. Mm-hmm. And it's how you overcome that. This was theirs. So if they could finish strong, make the playoffs, I guess it'd be a solid, what's the word I'm looking for, solid entrance into the playoffs. They're not a fluke.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
For the guys who weren't here last year, didn't watch the season last year, our men's basketball team actually finished 1 spot outside of the playoffs. But due to certain situations where one team was not able to play because of new membership into the conference or something like that, our guys they got in through the kind of like back door. And so it was kind of like a big surprise. Everybody was really excited about it. They got behind it. The guys got to play in the NCAA tournament that was here in Columbus. A tournament that our girls actually won last year. Our MVP, Shatil Bradford, was on set with us last year. But yeah, right now the volleyball team is putting together a lot of strong wins. They're putting together a case they can win out. And then you win out, you make it to the playoffs, and you kind of control your own destiny. But I just want to say thank you to the fans. I don't think everybody understands how much of home success is based upon fans.
No, it really is. And what's funny is about volleyball, I attended my first game just a few weeks ago upon doing this show. And like I said on that last episode, it is extremely energetic, nonstop action, which is I didn't expect. I thought it was kind of boring, like badminton to an extent, except without a racket.
Yeah.
And then I happened to go do some other filming events and just happened to be around their practice. Their practice is just as energetic and exciting as a game.
Yeah.
So you take all that energy and then imagine if we were to pack Lumpkin with tons of students and parents and friends of players and family of players and get loud like a football game, it would be ridiculous. Like they say even with a half-packed house, I felt the electricity in there. So if we had a full-packed one, we would, instead of like 3-1, 4-1, and all that stuff, put up 10, 15 to 0 and shut the other team out.
No, I mean, I really do believe you because, first off, Lumpkin Center is actually an arena. So, I mean, I don't know how many it sits, but it's probably a couple thousand. And so if you get it halfway packed where we're pushing close to 1,000, couple hundred people in there, you know, it's not a small building. So halfway packed, when people get loud, people start cheering, it has an effect on the crowd. And then our girls bring a certain energy because, you know, they get into it.
You make fun of me. I have a big head. But my point is, or not my point, but my stance is this. Dallas Cowboys, the new AT&T Stadium, they have standing room only. They have like a walk-around track, just like a Lumpkin Center. Why can't we make the Lumpkin Center just like a mini AT&T Stadium like in Dallas? Now, we're not going to have no big, you know, 200-foot screen up in the middle or anything like that, but why can't we make Lumpkin just that crazy and energetic and full? I mean, we got standing room only. You know the track. You used to run around it when you first got here playing basketball. Fans, standing around on that
talking
track.
to you guys. We need you guys to come out and support. We need you guys to come in there and pat Lumpkin out for every event, not just volleyball, you know. Some sports that are harder to go watch. Some sports that are harder to keep up with is cross country.
It's only hard because you don't run. I run with them. When I watch, that's the best way to watch it. Just run with them.
You know, I bring them Gatorade at the end. I just be there like, yo, you thirsty? You know, here
you go.
But our women's and men's cross country team, they both ran this week at Montevideo, Alabama. Is that how you say it?
I guess.
You're part Spanish.
Yeah, Montevideo.
So, Montevideo?
Just like Columbus. If you're watching this, it's not Buena Vista. It's Buena Vista. All right? Come on now, not Buena Vista.
He's actually half Puerto Rican. So
Montevideo.
Actually, the women finished 5th and the men finished 6th. I'm not exactly sure how many teams it was. I think it was like around 10, 12 teams. So you finish in the top half, which is not bad. And as far as I know, this is still early on in the cross-country season. So I think that, you know, hopefully they build on this. They get better with this one. And then, you know, cross-country goes from there.
Hey, cross-country, I don't know that it's very big for our school. The last college I transferred from here was huge. They, just like our tennis team, they pretty much recruited from overseas. And those guys, you'd see them running around the entire city for days. Their practice was run for 2 days. Take a day off, and then you go run the actual meet. Like, it was ridiculous.
I'm going to just say this about our cross-country team. They have my sincere respect. When I was on the team playing basketball, we had 6 o'clock conditioning every other day or sometimes only twice a week. And we'd have early morning weights. And so we'd be in Lumpkin early. And a lot of times when we were coming in at 6 or 7 o'clock, they were finishing. They were finishing. And so we'd have conditioning that day, and we'd be like, yeah, we got to run 2 miles today, or that really sucks. So like on our worst days, we run 5 miles. And so we'd see them, you know, coming out as we're going in, and we're like, hey, you know, we got to run 5 miles today, man. It really sucks. What you guys got to run? And they'll be like, oh, yeah, today was a light day. We just ran 10.
Yeah. Between 10 and 20 for practice.
I said, it was a light day. You just ran 10 miles.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, what's your time in the 10? This girl told me her time in the 10 matched my time for the 5. I think it requires a different sort of energy, a different sort of focus.
Worst practice for you. Your basketball coach telling you for conditioning that you guys are going to be running those suicides. There we go. Suicides for whatever the most you've ever run. Or they say you partner up with someone from cross country, you're just going to practice with a cross country team. Which one is worse?
Yeah, definitely the cross country.
See, you want to take the cross country?
No, the cross country is definitely worse. See, you almost got me. If you would have been like partnering with one of our guys and go run, I was one of the guys in better shape on the team.
Yeah.
I made it through the 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. I was like, yeah, I'm good. So suicides might have been my problem. Basketball.
And we're talking about this like pre-show, and I don't know that you've ever experienced it because in basketball and football, it's start and stop running. You don't do it for a long distance.
Yeah.
These people, it's not start and stop. It's start and just go till tomorrow. Maybe the next day.
Exactly.
You just run for cross country is a legit name. You got to run cross country pretty much, but it's not start and stop. But there's a runner's high that happens. After a while, your entire body gets like a second wind. You get past the point of fatigue. You get a second wind, and you feel no pain. Yeah. And you actually feel a euphoria. And you can just run forever, and you're having fun running and all that stuff. Have you ever experienced that?
I actually have. I actually have. It started in high school. My coach told me that I played football and basketball, but in the off season of basketball, my senior year, getting ready to go to college, my coach said, hey, man, you should run track. it'll make you a better athlete, and it'll help you out for college. And I was like, man, I hate track. I don't like running for just running. It sucks. And so I thought track practice was gonna be like lifting weights, technique. No, you really just run a lot.
Yeah.
Like you really just
run.
You really just run a lot. You do a couple hurdles. You might do a long jump or something, but you really just out there running. And I hated it at first. First 2 weeks, I hated it. And then I started like kind of losing a little weight, getting a little faster, and then I started hitting like this zone where it was like I would stop being tired, I would start feeling really good, and then I actually started running for fun. Like going into college, I started running for fun.
That's something a lot of the population don't understand when you make that statement. Running for fun. There's nothing fun about running. But
Yeah.
after a little while.
No, it does. It ended up being like the ultimate stress reliever, and it starts being good. So I really like it. All right, that's all we got for you on this side of the break, the CSU Sports Talk. On the other side, we're going to talk soccer, and we're going to have an interview from some of our players. Take care now.
To master such a tiny ball should not be very hard at all. But my desires the ball refuses and does exactly as it chooses. It hooks and slices, dribbles and dies, and it disappears before our eyes. Often we'll have a whim to hit a tree or to take a swim. Love golf like we do? It's better live with CSU men's and women's golf.
How you guys doing? Welcome to another episode of CSU Sports Talk. I'm your host, Derek Bailey. Right now, I'm out here at Columbus State Soccer Field about to interview one of our star soccer players, Kiana Nicholson. Kiana, how you doing today?
Good. How are you, Derek?
I'm doing pretty good. Well, we wanted to grab you, Kiana, because you're a soccer player here at CSU, but you got a really interesting story. First, I want to know, how did you get into soccer?
Well, when I was 3, it wasn't really a choice. My mom wanted to get us active, me and my other 4 sisters. You're going to do soccer. And I started the YMCA, bounced around in a number of sports, ballet, tennis, was 2 other ones. And I don't know, when I started playing, it just kind of clicked.
Okay.
And from then on, it became my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who was your favorite soccer player growing up? Was there like one person that you used to watch all the time, maybe like David Beckham or Freddie Adu or anybody like that?
No offense to David Beckham or Freddie Adu. Mia Hamm was my hero. 1, because she's about my size. 2, she had an amazing set of foot skills, and she showed people, like me, that height doesn't really matter. And she was a star until about 2004, I believe, was her last game. And also Pele.
Okay, yeah, I watch Pele. I'm on YouTube. I know Pele.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know about him.
When did you know that you were gonna be good? Like, was it was it your senior year? Was it your freshman year? Was it a certain game where you just really went off? When was it like, hey, I'm pretty good. I could play college soccer. Like, when did you figure that out?
Oh, it started really, really young. When I was at the Y, I was very fortunate to have the coaches that I had. Most of them were parents who coached part-time, but there were a few coaches that had their coach licenses, and I learned my skills, slide tackles, dribbling, juggling, all the, basic skills. So it was probably about 8, 9 that I started playing, select soccer. Mm-hmm. And from then on out, I was looking at the national team. Once I hit high school, I knew college was as far as I was going to go with it. But when I was about 9, 10, that mindset clicked in. Like, I want to do everything that I can do. I want to give it my all. I want to be the best I can be. And I don't want to be sitting on the bench.
Okay. No, I get you. For the people at home who don't know, me and Kiana are friends. We've known each other for a couple years now. You actually came here to play soccer, and then you started focusing on school, and now you've returned to play soccer a little bit later on, a couple years later. How does it feel after, having missed some time? Do you feel like you still got it? Do you feel like you're a little slow? Do you feel like mentally you're sharper? Like, how do you feel having missed time away from the game?
Well, to be honest, it was about the 3rd day of school that I was signing the contract to come back and play. So about 6 months before the semester started, my senior semester here at CSU, I wasn't even thinking about it. I'd written it off. I'm out of shape. It's, I haven't seen Coach Jay in a while. So I didn't think that I was going to be playing. And I just happened to see him around campus. And he said, it's your senior year, it's the last chance. And I thought about all the things that I have done. I took time aside to better myself and to take a break, because I've done it for, about 15 plus years by then. Mm-hmm. And I figured it was kind of that closing chapter for CSU. Now, when it comes to the playing aspect of it, I feel little moments where it's coming back or it's on the verge. Some things never really left. Some things I have to recover and completely start over with. And some things, they're right where they were in the beginning. So I've been a little fortunate.
But you know what? With that being said, one thing I do want to talk about, former basketball player, you current soccer player, we know what it's like for the grind. See, a lot of people that want to play college sports, they say, hey, man, I really want to play college sports. They think it's all fun. They're like, man, I want to kick a soccer goal, and I want to hear all the girls cheer for me, or I want to get a dunk, and I want to sign autographs for little kids. But they don't know about 6 a.m. conditioning. They don't know about 2 workouts a week, or just doing weights and then practice 5 days a week, then road games. And then still having to come back and be a student. You still got to do your schoolwork. You're not exempt from doing class. This isn't North Carolina. You still got to do your schoolwork. You know what I'm saying? So can you explain to people what that grind is like? Working out, going to class, lifting weights, running, all that stuff. How does that take a toll on you?
Oh, it takes an incredible toll. I mean, a lot of teachers aren't willing to, let me just go over this lesson again. Let me give you some notes of the lesson. So a lot of it is just like taking an online class on campus, making up. Me, I'm a finance major, so I'm very heavily finance related. I do miss out on, major assignments. In one class, I'm a little lucky with that. Most teachers are very flexible and helpful, but some really give you some trouble, and they treat you like you're the typical jock that doesn't really care about your education.
Right now, you guys are in the middle of a great season. You guys are winning. You guys are kicking a lot of butt. You guys had a shutout game. You guys are taking almost 4, 5, 6 times more shots on the goal than other teams are. How does it feel right now, being a winner, being a champion? How are you guys as a team? You guys even keel? You guys feel really high? Like, how are you guys feeling right now?
Well, honestly, I have this quote. Anson Dorrance wrote this book at UNC, a women's soccer coach, very, very accredited coach, wrote it about Mia Hamm working out, and he said the vision of a champion is bent over, drenched in sweat at the point of exhaustion when no one's watching, And it's great to be visibly out in front of people and them seeing your victories, but your major victories are when nobody's out here watching us practice or watching us make up for practices because we're in class or doubling up on practices and whatnot. And ultimately, that mindset is what keeps us sane. As a team, it's exciting to have great wins such as Armstrong, which was a huge win, and there was excitement, there's celebration, but also, in the big scheme, we still have a lot of work to do. Yeah. We still have to get to conference, to NCAA, get a championship. Yeah. That's the ultimate goal. So just being able to focus on, the task at hand. And now, since we got some major games coming up, it's a game by game basis. Okay. Don't overthink one game and go to the other. Right now, Clayton State on Saturday at 1:00, and then after that, we go from there.
Okay. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you, Kiana.
Thank you, Derek.
Next time on CSU Sports Talk, I'll see you guys again. Sign out.
And we're back to CSU Sports Talk here in the studio at InPace Center, downtown Columbus. We just had a great special with Kiana Nicholson and Coach Jay. Let you guys see a little bit into the sports world of a college athlete. What do you think about that, Matt?
It's not to make it sound bad. It's nothing that I didn't know before, I guess, if that makes sense. As far as, you're a student athlete. You got to do both. It's tough. She has a very interesting story. She's a lot more interesting and fun to watch, as you saw on the B-roll, on the field. She's very energetic. She's very serious. I'm pretty sure I've seen her get in 2 fights thus far, which is awesome. Bet you didn't know that about women's college soccer. They fight. Yeah. And you want to see it even worse, a more just awkward sensation, go watch men's soccer. I wish we had a men's soccer team I would sign up for. I told you during the tournament, I started watching the first men's, I was like, I wonder if they're just any more energetic than the women's. I was about 2-3 minutes in, I realized if I was on a men's soccer team, I'd be fighting. I'd be kicked out. There's no way. They're way too aggressive. They're more aggressive than our men's football team. I don't know what to say. Yeah, I did. I went there. I took that shot. I'll be that guy to take that shot.
Not me. But man, I'm gonna be real with you. This is the first year that I'm really hardcore following soccer. Started off with my trip to Spain, came back. Now I've been watching women's soccer here, and they get a little little gritty, a little nasty, a little ugly, man. It gets
I don't mean to go off slightly sidetracked, but is it true when you got off the plane to Spain that they gave everyone a soccer ball?
They did.
Okay, just want to make sure.
And you have to say mucho gracias. You know, like it's like that. It's that serious over there.
Just want to make sure.
Couple notes that I want to hit on with our soccer team is that even though we had our first loss this last week at Clayton State, our girls lost in double overtime, 3-2, here at home. But they're still 11-1-1, which is an 88% winning record.
Okay,
so
one loss. So you can't be mad
we
about
were,
that.
we were top 5 in the nation beforehand, probably still being out top 10. We go on the road this week to play North Georgia, that's top 10 in the country, that actually beat Clayton State not too long ago.
I'm not worried. I watched the game, and very simply, we are better than Clayton State. Even though we lost that game, we are way better than Clayton State. If you look at the numbers, and to simplify the game for those who didn't see it, and you want a quick rundown, this is simply what happened. Just like you in basketball, there's just some times where your team just can't hit a shot to save your life.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened in this game. They took tons of shots on the goal.
Yeah, actually 27.
Yes, tons. And very few dropped. They were just off. They couldn't put a goal in to save life, but they were trying. They were trying as hard as they could.
No, I actually didn't get to see the game, watched part of it online, and I read through and read up on the stats at the end. That's kind of what I always do with sports that I miss. It's that Clayton State was held 7 shots, 7 or 8 shots, and they hit 3. Highly effective. We took 27 shots and only hit 2. So it's, our defense held up. We limited the number of shots on goal, as we normally do. We're pretty good defensively. And offensively, we got to the red zone, as we normally do. If our girls' soccer team was at El Football or whatever, we always in the red zone. We're always taking shots. We're always getting long bombs. We're always in contention to score. That's what we are. We're scoring machines. But it just seemed that we didn't convert. So it was kind of an upsetting loss. I talked to some of the girls afterwards. They were kind of upset about it. Actually, I had a phone call from Kiana after the game. She gave me a lot of choice words, but she was kind of upset. I talked to Shay, who's from Augusta. My girl Shay Wilby. I didn't know you were from Augusta, so shout out Augusta.
Because it's not a small town where you guys don't know each other.
It's not
the case, huh?
It's not.
The big town of Savannah. Who would have thought of that?
Anyway, Matthew. So I'm really excited about our girls trying to finish out the season.
I think the coach said it best at the end of the game during an interview where he just simply said, like, from here on out, the lesson learned is simply this. If you're going to take a shot, like, it's a game-winning shot. Take that last shot like it's the last one to win the game or it's the last shot you'll ever take. Because maybe that is. I don't know. And I'm not going to ask the girls if that was the case, but, like, they were just kind of, like, half-ass shots or not trying to their best attempt, just trying to put it in the air, just trying to take a shot on goal and figure the goalie was going to slag off. But I like the way he answered to fix that, and that's good coaching right there. From now on, anytime you take a shot, it's the last shot of your life. Make it count.
And what's funny is that from talking to the girls that I talked to after the game, they all had this same statement come out their mouths. We should be more efficient.
Yeah.
We should be more efficient. We should be. Well, Coach said preaches efficiency. Coach told us before the game to be efficient. He was like talking to a handful of girls and hearing the same comment. I understand that's going to be a key word for the future is efficiency. We understand you guys are good. You guys are talented. You guys can put yourselves in a predicament to win, but are you going to take the best decision making into that process?
Yeah. Actually make it all count.
Exactly.
27 shots, why don't you just drop it down to 10 or 12 and put in 5 out of the 12 instead of 2 out of 27? That's not That's some Shaquille O'Neal free throw percentage type stuff.
I'm talking about the big Diesel.
He's retired, it don't matter. He would take it himself.
Yeah, no, I'm just messing with you. And on that note, men's basketball starting up soon, November 9th, 8th, and 10th.
Yes.
We got road games at Stetson and at Jacksonville State. Trying to go down to Jacksonville?
Yeah, actually, and I invited you too for was it Florida, Georgia game? If we can get tickets, anytime we can go down to Florida.
I need some friends in Jacksonville. Y'all call me, man. Everybody looking for a place to stay in Jacksonville.
That's something that kind of bugs me is just like the football team and the basketball team, the exhibition games to start the season, why are they always away? Why are we not good enough to where teams want to come to us to do an exhibition game? We have to go out and away. Now, if it was like to Auburn or a big school or something like that, that would make sense.
Well, and basketball is economics. You get paid for these games to go away.
I gotcha.
So it's
I guess J-State's better than what I thought they were, I guess. But
they might be, but that's all we got to get out there and check it out.
Yeah.
So Coach Moore, hold me and my man Matthew Gay 2 tickets in the box or on the floor right behind you. Come be in your ear all game.
I'll bring the Coronas and the beach towels.
That's right.
Right?
Yes, let's do it. CSU Sports Talk. See you guys next week. Signing out. I'm your host, Derek Bailey. My partner in crime, Matthew Gay. You guys take care.